Welcome back to the Cat Knit Podcast. My name is Grace. Today is Thursday. Again, I forgot to check the date. Today is a Thursday, November 16th. Thanksgiving is next week, people. What is that? This is a knitting podcast that also includes sometimes spinning, baking, books, cats, dyeing yarn, and just general happiness in the crafting life. Because that is what I love to do. I love to craft, I love to make things, I love to bake, I love to read, and I love cats. So, if any of those things interest you, and if you are a new viewer, hopefully you will enjoy this episode. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back and spending some time with me. I do have a very big announcement today that I talked about last week. I'm going to tell you in this episode, so that is very exciting. So without further ado, if you'd like to grab something tasty to drink, I have tea today because tea is important. Tea or coffee, any kind of caffeinated drink is always important in the morning, especially if you have a lot to do. Go and grab something tasty to drink or eat or craft or do whatever you'd like to do, and come back and join me for some crafty chat. So, I have big news. It's nothing huge. It is kind of huge, but it's also, excuse me, I do apologize, it's big news. We're moving. We are moving from Dallas to Houston. We are moving in about a week and a half, less than 2 weeks. So, everything is currently being boxed up right now. Everything, which is why you can see a box in the background. It's why this looks a little weird because there's no yarn down here. I saved this so I could have some kind of background for podcasting before we left. So there is that. After I finish recording this will go, which is kind of crazy. So that is why last week I was making reference to the fact that things will be happening, we'll be moving, and it will be super crazy. And so crafting wise, I don't know how much I'll be able to deliver on the podcasting front or whatever. So podcast content might be light, or there might not be any episodes at all. I'm gonna set down my tea really quick because you gotta talk with your hands as you do. So I did look at my calendar, and I think as of right now my plan is to not record for the next 2 weeks, maybe 3, depending on how we're feeling, or how I'm feeling, in regards to podcast content and just general recording and all that kind of stuff. So my husband starts work on December 1st, so we will definitely be in Houston by then. We will figure all that stuff out as we go. We just found out literally the day before, or a couple days before I recorded last week, but it wasn't like firmly set in stone then, so I didn't want to say what was happening because I didn't know for sure if it was going to happen, so that's why. But I can say it now, so we are moving. Yes, we're moving. Next week, just because it's Thanksgiving and because we'll be traveling, and we'll also be taking care of our cat, we'll be packing, we'll be moving. Next week there will not be a podcast. The week after that will probably be our moving week. So again, there won't be a podcast then. Whatever the first Friday is in December, I don't know if I will record then. As I said, we'll see. But who knows? I could, I might not. We'll just have to wait and see. So that is the big announcement out of the way. Again, we're moving to Houston. We are so excited. We are just, we're just beyond excited. It's just such a wonderful opportunity, and we're so glad that it finally worked out. We've been waiting for an opportunity like this for a long time, and I'm so glad that it finally worked out. So I'm just repeating myself now. So I do have content today. We're going out of town this weekend, which is why I'm recording on a Thursday. There's an airplane going by, but that's okay. I do have I do have a fair amount of content to show you, but it doesn't seem like a lot, and also I need to continue working on packing because that's kind of important. So this might be a shorter episode, and because of that I do apologize. Thank you so much for sticking with me. So progress wise, or knitting wise, I have two well, okay, so some of the things are very small and I knit them within like a span of an hour and a half, so I don't know if I would necessarily call them a finished object. Well, actually I would, because I did finish it, but I'm giving them in sets of 3, so is it really a finished object? I don't know. Let's just count it as a finished object because I feel better that way. So I have 2 finished objects, a work in progress, and I don't think I brought the work in progress over to you, but it'll be very apparent as to what it is and what it will look like. And then I have my branches and buds pullover, which I will show you, and then I also have my cross stitch Christmas present, which again I will not gonna say who it's for, obviously, because that's kind of a surprise, and I won't tell you what it's going to be, just so the surprise can continue to be real. It still doesn't really look like very much to me anyway. I know I've done a lot of work, I know I've put in the hours, which has been really great because I will be usually packing all day, and then in the evening I can take a break and catch up on YouTube or read or watch a movie or whatever and work on cross stitch and or whatever kind of Christmas project that needs to be worked on. Yesterday was an exception because I really just needed a break from Christmas projects and packing, and so I worked a lot on my branches and bud pullover, which is for myself. It is not a gift. It is selfish knitting. No shade. So I will show you these things. I'm not as nearly as organized as I usually am, which is not very much, so I'm even less organized than I usually am this week, just because all the usual stuff is gone. The table that the camera's usually set up is right here. So you're on a bunch of boxes that are very precariously balanced, so apologies. But we're making it work. We're making it work. So first 2 finished objects, because there are 2 of them. These are little koozie, mug koozies, cup koozie, beer koozie, whatever you want to call it. Stuff you can put around like cans and stuff. So I am knitting these for I really don't think that these people watch the podcast, so I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I'm knitting these for both my brothers and my dad. Each of them will get 3 of these in different colors, and I'm just kind of going whatever I feel like in the moment in regards to striping and color-wise. And then there's also a bottle opener of some sort that we found that will give each one of them as well to go along with these little koozies, which I think is super fun. It's very cheap, it's very easy. I can knock one of these out, like I said, in about an hour and a half, so if that. So there's an ugly little seam right there, so we're just going to turn that around. There we go. I am now forgetting the name of the pattern, which I feel very bad about. We're going to look that up really quickly because my computer's sitting right here on a trash bag full of yarn. So I do apologize. I'm going to do this very quickly. The yarn that I'm using is just random scraps of Knit Picks Wool of the Andes that I have collected. I do apologize. This is very bad podcasting of me. I found it. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. It's called the Mug Hug by Rebecca Gunderson. It is super easy. It takes an Aran weight or worsted weight or whatever on a size 5. I am using double points because that is my preferred method of small circumference in the round knitting. And this is what I have so far. And like I said, the stripes are just very random. I'm just kind of going with the flow, if you will. I have a bunch of like random colors that basically all the colors that I know that I'll need for the various Christmas gifts that use Knit Picks Wool of the Andes in my big bag. And so I'm just grabbing from those and creating stuff like this. My plan is to have, so if there's 3 of them, they'll have one solid one, which I'm working on right now. They'll have one that's kind of like this, where they'll have big, more blockier stripes, and then one like this where the stripes are more smaller. Excuse me, I do apologize with my phrasing. It's not quite correct today, but we're a little frazzled this week, but that's okay. I do highly recommend the Mug Hug pattern by Rebecca Gunderson. It is super easy. It's very easily memorizable, if that is a word. It's very easily memorized. And yeah, it's just such a quick gift knit. So highly recommend. Next up, we have my Branches and Bud pullover, which I got a lot of progress on yesterday. So that's happy. Oopies. This yarn is very slippy. It is very, it's not challenging to knit on metal needles, but I think I would prefer it if I was knitting it on wooden, but oh well, it's okay. I don't have time to figure out that kind of thing right now, so I'm just going to stick with the metal. It'll be fine! So this is my Branches and Bud pullover by Carrie Bostic Hoge. It is a top-down yoke colorwork sweater that is super fun. I don't know if I'm showing you like what side is which. I do apologize. I know it looks kind of like just a bag right now, but this is what I have so far. Let me see if I can stretch this out. There we go. That's better. So that's kind of what I have so far. I have knit maybe 1.5 inches below the last colorwork repeat, and I think I'm getting close to the end of the increases after that. And once I get all those increases done, I will be in smooth sailing. I can have just miles and miles of endless stockinette stitching around, which will be perfect. If you have seen previous episodes of this podcast, you know I am totally down for that because I like to read while I knit, and that is perfect. And also, if we're moving, that might be kind of like very chill. Although these little guys are very soothing as well, just because they're also stockinette in the round, and it's very simple. So this also works because, you know, Christmas knitting needs to get done, but in case I'm really not feeling it, I can knit on something for myself and I'll probably feel much better. So that is happening. The yarn that I'm using, let me pull this out for you. I do apologize. Oh no, balls of yarn are falling everywhere. Okay. We'll just have to pick that up later, but oh well. So I'm using Drops Flora in the light gray colorway, and then the contrasting is a coral. This is a beautiful yarn. It's very lightweight, it's very flowy and airy. It's 65% wool, 35% alpaca. It is just so soft. I love it so much. And I love the colors, and I just want to wear this sweater. It's so beautiful. Okay, anyway, moving on. That is one thing that will always remain a solid in like times of very much craziness. Again, with the phrasing, I do apologize. With all the crazy that's going on, all the insanity, all the just the moving and stuff like that, it is very nice to have things like knitting that you can always go to and you can be like, okay, well, I don't know what's going on, but I do know that I can knit a little mug koozie. I know I can knit a sweater because I can do that, but I don't know if I can pack up this room right now because it's super overwhelming. So that's my current state of mind. I don't know if you are like that when you move, but that's how I am right now. So it's very nice to have knitting just to like take a break, make yourself a cup of tea, just like sit down, relax, knit a couple rows. You'll be inspired to go back and continue to pack, maybe. if you're lucky. And that's not so much in my case, but that's okay. We have packed up most of the apartment. All that's left is our bedroom, our closet, and like clothes and stuff, and then the kitchen, which are definitely like some of the biggest things. But the office, the room that I'm currently in, was probably the biggest out of all of them. So, and that's already done. That's what I did first. So that's good, but just clothing in general just seems very daunting to me. So I'm kind of putting it off, but I'm also not kind of putting it like I shouldn't, but oh well. We still have time. We still have time. It'll be fine. We'll get it done. But yes. Anyway, moving woes. You are not interested in moving woes. We'll move on from that. So another crafty thing that I've been working on that is not knitting is my cross stitch. I have made so much progress. I have made so much progress. You might not be able to tell necessarily if you held up like 2 pictures of them, of my progress last week and my progress this week. You'll definitely be able to tell, but like from that, I don't know if you can really tell. You can kind of tell. It looks more like a flower, kind of. So that's exciting. This, like I said, I'm not going to say what it's going to be, just for secrecy's sake and Christmas presents and all that stuff. But, I do have it pulled up on my computer right here, which I do apologize for looking at it. But, this is who designed it, and her Etsy shop is called Stitchline Cross Stitch. I linked it in the show notes last week, and I'll link it again this week for sure. If you are interested, she has a lot of really, really cute designs that are very similar to this one that I'm doing. If you go to her Etsy shop, I'm sure you could probably figure out what I'm doing. But that's okay. That's fine. So yes, I'm working on this. This is taking up a lot of time, but I am I'm getting into the hang of it. A couple nights ago I was working on it and I got so much done. I was very surprised at myself. I just got in the groove and was like, look at me go, I'm just flying through all these little cross stitches, I'm doing so great. And I think I had just I think last week I mentioned that I had made a lot of mistakes, and so I was just trying to fill it in with various shades of pink because that's what this is. And that was kind of frustrating and also just kind of messing with my mind a little bit. In regards to math and making things fit. But I'm almost done with it, and I fixed all the problems I think on the inside. So now I'm getting ready to start working out. So I'm very excited about that because I will be using things other than various shades of pink, which I do love pink, but this has been a lot of pink. So I'm excited about that. I do think that this was the center, obviously, because that's how you can start a cross stitch. You start from the center and you go out. So this is a center, and I'm pretty sure that this was the biggest, hardest thing out of the entire thing that I'm doing. So I am excited that I am almost out of this flowery tunnel and moving on to bigger and better things now, because there's other Christmas gifts that need to be crafted, and that's just kind of important. So this is what I have so far. I'm super happy with it. Yeah, so fun times, fun times, fun times. And again, it's by Stitchline on Etsy. Lots of cute patterns. And she also has a very cool deal where if you buy one, you get one free, in regards to her designs, which was very nice. So highly recommend. And they're also very, very nicely laid out. The stuff is very clear. I don't have a whole lot of experience with downloading cross stitch patterns online, but from what they could be, I think hers are pretty great. So. And there's also another thing, it came with a lot of options in regards to how you view your PDF on your computer or on your tablet or whatever, because there's the big version that comes in it's in 4 different sheets of paper that you have to then put together, or there's a color one of those, there's a black and white of one of those, There's the page that has all like the thread colors on it, and then there's one for your tablet, and I think there's one other one. But the one for your tablet is really amazing because it puts it all on one page, so you don't have to go from like page to page, which is really easy if you're on like an iPad or your iPhone or even on your computer for that matter. So that's the version that I use because for me it's the easiest. But that's just my personal preference, and so yes, yay for cross stitch. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm glad to be doing this again. I will definitely be doing more cross stitch in the future for sure. I did do a bit of baking yesterday because you don't want to move more than necessary, and so using up stuff that you have in your pantry or your baking cupboard or whatever you have is always kind of good to do. So yesterday I whipped up a batch of cookies, which was really fun. It was just your standard chocolate chip, but I found out a really delicious combination of add-ins that I had never had before, so I'm going to share that with you and you can try it out if you like. I had milk chocolate chips, but I'm sure like other semi-sweet or dark chocolate chips or whatever you would prefer to use would be just as delicious. So I had milk chocolate chips, I had white chocolate chips, and then I had chopped up pecans in cookies. And I don't know about you, I'm also getting ready to sneeze, so one moment. So yes, it was the combination of the milk chocolate, white chocolate, and pecans was just super delicious. I feel like when I was younger, I was against nuts in things like cookies and like cakes and breads and stuff like that. I enjoyed them if I knew that I liked them, but if I was just like, that has nuts in it, I would prefer it to not have nuts, so let's leave out the nuts. But now as I've gotten older, I think it's actually really nice because then you have like a crunch, and then you also have like a little form of protein, so it's kind of healthy that way. You can feel good about eating 2 or 3 or 5 cookies. Yeah, it was just a really great combination of stuff for a chocolate chip cookie, and I would definitely do that combination again. You could use any kind of cookie recipe, chocolate chip cookie recipe that you prefer, if you have one that you prefer. I don't remember the one that I used particularly, but yeah, any standard one would do, just because you can, if you have your base, you can add pretty much anything to it. So baking wise, that is what I have done. That was really great. I will continue to figure out how to use up stuff that I have. My grocery lists have definitely gone down, just so we can like eat from what we have and make meals from what we have, which is just always good idea. I mean, it's a good idea to do that in general, but like if you're moving, you don't want to have to move like bags of rice and boxes of pasta and stuff like that. So, or I don't know, boxes of macaroni and cheese. You know what I mean. You use up stuff in your pantry that you don't want to move, and it just worked out really great then, because you don't have to move it. So that is a work in progress, as you could call it, maybe. So while packing everything, I have had a trusty feel-good TV show going on in the background that I dearly love, and that is the Gilmore Girls. Probably nobody's surprised by that. Probably everybody, or not everybody, I know that not everybody's seen it, but a good amount of people have seen it, and so you know what I'm talking about when that it's a feel-good show. It's just very cozy. It makes me just feel very good about myself, and just like, I can do this. It's fun. And it's just really nice to have something going on in the background. And so if I want to stop and watch, I can. I don't have to, because I've already seen it all before, so that's really nice. And yeah, it's been a while since I've seen all of it, so that's been fun as well. So I highly recommend the Gilmore Girls if you haven't seen it before, or if you haven't seen it in a while, go back and watch it again, because it's just such a good TV show. It's great. Another tidbit of information that I feel like is important to share with the world, because I benefited from this greatly. As you know, Christmas time is coming, which means holiday stuff is in stores, whether it be trees and decorations or Christmas jammies at Target. What? Target has their Christmas jammies out, or pajamas, or whatever you call them. I call them jammies, so they're jammies. The biggest selection of the ones that they have a bunch of onesies, which I think is funny. I am not a big onesie person, but then again, I haven't worn a onesie in forever. But they had a lot of really fun onesies. But the main selection of them were like flannel sets of like a button down and then like flannel pants with a drawstring. And I'm actually going to go get the pair that I got because I want to show you guys. They have super cute ones. They have more like classic ones. I think they had like a black and red plaid. They had one that had like a very, it was a red and white pattern with reindeer and stuff. They had one that was blue and had singing polar bears and snowmen and penguins, which was super cute. That was one of the ones that I was looking at. They also have one with llamas on it and Santa Clauses and Mrs. Santa Clauses. Which was just super cute. Like, how can you like say no to llamas? The only problem with that pair though is that I was not a fan of the base like pink that it was on. But that is just totally my personal preference. They are super cute. I'm just not a fan of that pink. So I went with one of the more like classic, or in my mind it's kind of classic, prints. And that is this this print here. This is the back of the shirt, by the way. So it's just super cute. They are so soft and yeah, it's just super cute. They also have like red trim. You can tell there's the collar. The shirt has like a very nice pocket. You can see right there. That's super great. So this is the shirt, and then here are the pants, and they have a wonderful, wonderful drawstring. It's very heavy duty and it's actually kind of soft. So it's a very nice material. I highly, highly recommend them. I've always been not skeptical of the Target jammies like this, but like when you walk by them and you feel them and they're like not as soft as you expect them to be, and it's just like, I don't know if I'd like to sleep in that. And then you're like, but the pattern is just so cute, so maybe I'll try it. And so then you try them, and then they get so much softer. And it's like, and then when you wash them, they get even softer. And so it's just continually getting softer and softer and softer. And it's just like, I love these jammies so much. Maybe that's kind of weird. Maybe you were not interested in that, but if you are into Christmas jammies like I am into Christmas jammies, I highly recommend you going to Target and checking these out. They also have other really cute ones that are like soft and flowy shirts, and they have like long john type bottoms, if that's the type of jammies that you prefer. Lots of options, lots of really cute Christmas options. Definitely go and check them out. Another really cute detail that I am just now noticing, looking at things to talk about these jammies, these buttons are sparkly. I didn't know that. But, I don't know if you can see that, but they're sparkly. They have glitter in them. Like, what the poop? They're so cute. So yes, I love these jammies. They're just so nice and comfy, and they're just so Christmassy, and they're just so happy, and I love them so much. Anyway, enough ranting about jammies, because that is definitely not what this podcast is about, but if you're interested, go check them out. That is all I have to talk about today. I told you about moving. We did the crafty stuff. We did cookies and the jammies. I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else that I need to share with you guys. Just like I said, because of like moving stuff and also the holidays coming, I will not be posting an episode next week, and I will definitely not be posting one the week after that. The first week of December, I don't know, so let's just not keep our hopes up, and who knows, maybe I will, who knows, we'll just have to wait and see. And yes, thank you guys so much for sticking with me through stuff like this, because I know it's kind of annoying if you watch a podcast regularly or whatever, or even not regularly, and you don't have podcast episodes for a couple weeks, and so it's like, well, now what do I watch? I do apologize. I do know those struggles because I do the same thing. I get annoyed sometimes when people don't post podcast episodes, and it's just like, you guys have lives too. It's fine. Well, there's lots of other things to watch. It is totally okay. But either way, thank you so much for sticking with me through all of that kind of stuff. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me, so thank you. I forgot to mention at the beginning of the episode, apologies. All the various things that I have talked about will be linked in the show notes. That will be on my blog, or if you're on YouTube, the link to my blog will be down below. Also, links to all my various social medias will be everywhere. There's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Ravelry. I'm most active on Instagram by far. There's also a Ravelry podcast group that you can join that I am terrible in posting in, but that is something that I would like to do in the new year. There's a group for you to join if you like. If you go to Ravelry and click on the groups tab and search the Catnip podcast, it'll pop up. And then there's also an online store where you can buy some yarn that I've hand dyed, and that is the catnipyarns.bigcartel.com. I will probably be not closing it, but I'll probably be putting it on hold or have nothing in the store for right now, just while we move, just in case someone wants to buy something and I don't have access to the stuff that I have. But that'll be fine. So I'll take care of that. But for right now, it is still up there. So if you're interested, you can definitely go and check it out. And yes, I do apologize for not mentioning it at the beginning because that is when I normally mention it. But now you know. With that, I'm going to say goodbye. I hope you have had a wonderful week. I hope you continue to have a wonderful weekend, and I hope all your crafty plans are successful. I hope you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving if you're in the U.S., and if you're other places, I hope you have a wonderful Thursday next week. If you're in the U.S., hope you enjoy the pumpkin pie and the pecan pie. Pecan pie is my personal favorite. I'm not a fan of pumpkin pie, but that is my personal preference. It's just making me very excited. I cannot wait for Thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving so much. And plus it's like a good crafting time because after you eat, then you potentially watch like a football game, or you watch a sporting event, or before you eat, you watch the Macy's Day Parade or whatever. There's just a lot of good time to craft. In my family, this is a family tradition. Fun fact very quickly before we close this episode out. Fun fact about my family, when we all get together for various holidays and stuff like that, we always play Trivial Pursuit. And usually it's the girls against the boys, and so that's super fun. I'm usually in charge of the board, and so I get to knit while I do that, which is very fun. I do enjoy that a lot. So yes, I do hope you get a lot of crafting done. I hope you get all your holiday crafting done in time. Hopefully I will see you guys in December sometime, but not next week or the week after that due to moving. So that is exciting. I will continue to post on Instagram and stuff, so I'm not going to disappear off of the face of the knitting world completely. But podcast-wise, we're going to take a little break. But that's okay. That's okay. So I think that is everything that I have to say, and I guess I will see you guys in a couple weeks. Bye!